Okay, I decided I've been doing a lot of looking around on the internet, and I found that kind of European cars versus American cars versus Japanese cars. Now, I'm sure you're all familiar with domestics, though. You know, cars like that, American muscle. But they suffer from slight issues. Larger engine. They have more power, but at the cost of fuel efficiency. Also, the older ones are heavier, so therefore they don't handle as well, and you don't get as much acceleration and top speed as you could. European cars. I'm sure you're all familiar with car manufacturers like Lamborghini, Ferrari, Aston Martin, McLaren. They're really big supercar manufacturers like them. And you all know BMW for their cars handling. But do you know the Japanese car manufacturers? And do you know what their cars offer? Let me start with one of the most famous. You've probably seen it in the Fast and the Furious and other movies of that sort, as well as racing games. The Nissan Skyline. To be more precise, the R34 GTR. The Nissan Skyline, way back when, like first generation, second generation, was probably the best race car in its class at the time, at least as far as Japanese motorsports goes. It was discontinued for a short period, and then another generation came into play. And then once again discontinued for a period, and then there was the R30 and the R31 versions, but the one that is really worth mentioning is the R32 GTR. The car was literally built to be a race car, and it was famous for its handling. Now then, the newer GTRs, the R35 GTRs, certifiable supercars. However, there was one slight issue. They are called computer-controlled rockets. You know why? Because that's precisely what they are. People complain about it. They've got the computer-controlled, a Tesla all-wheel drive, and there are other things that are also computer-controlled. But you know what? There's more to go wrong and all that, but the price you pay for buying a modern car. The R34 GTR is computer-controlled as well, but it's very popular among mountain pass races. You know, there have been complaints about being heavy and wearing down tires fast. Yes, that's true, but it's not nearly as much of an issue as it would be with, say, a muscle car. I have nothing against muscle cars. As far as looks go, you probably can't beat them. However, I'm just stating their obvious drawbacks that are really there. I'm not doing this because I'm prejudiced against cars that are made by companies in my own country. That would be preposterous. No, I'm saying this because it's true. Now then, other Japanese cars. The FD3S, a lightweight sports car. Yes, I dare call it a sports car. A little bit on the lower end of sports cars, but fairly lightweight, lighter than the R34 GTR. Although, I have heard complaints about the R34 GTR being underpowered, but in truth, it's not underpowered. It's got a lot of torque, which is really all you need. HP sells cars, but torque is power to the wheels. Yes, it's got It's got like 330 HP stock, and that's really not bad. There are cars that are even more underpowered. To name one, the HHR. There are cars that are around the same class as the R34 GTR and suffer from some of the same drawbacks it does, like the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 9. Now, there are cars that people use that really aren't that great of choice. To name one, the 86. I mean, yeah, in its day maybe, but nowadays, as far as cars go, it's obsolete. I'm surprised they still make aftermarket parts for it. That's like from the 80s, and no one buys it anymore because, well, people buy it, but hardly anybody who's looking for something that they could actually use in competition. It's more of just a toy nowadays. You can buy one for cheap. Sometimes you can even get them for free. But really, they're not for competition use. If you want a car that's good for competition, get yourself an S15 or something like that. Anyway, when it comes to JDM, Japanese domestic market, there's been a lot of demand for it lately. Been a lot of tuner magazines that have been put in the book sections at Walmart with the ones you know. They're focusing mainly on domestic. The demand for imports is growing, and cars like the Corvette ZR1, Corvette Z06, and Shelby GT500, they're just above the price range that non-professional racers are looking for. They're just too expensive. You can get an R34 GTR for around $30,000 US. A Corvette, we're talking way up there. I don't even know, and I'm not sure I want to know. So yeah, with the R34 GTR, you get your money's worth. With the FD3S, you get your money's worth. With a European car, you usually get your money's worth. With an American car, 8 times out of 10, you get your money's worth. What I'm trying to say is there's no reason to be prejudiced against one car or another. There are cars that are not worth the money spent on them. The HHR, the Bonneville, and, if you want me to be prejudiced about it, the Toyota Supra. That's all I'm saying. Don't be prejudiced against one car or another. Just base it on what you like, and don't put someone else down because of their taste is different. I've been looking around on YouTube, and I've seen a lot of kind of GT3 versus GTR going on. You know, all it, you know, like GTR fanboys versus GT3 lovers. But in the long run, it all comes down to personal preference, and when it comes down to racing, it doesn't matter what you drive, it's how you drive what you got. I'm out.